Well, that is 2 days. Hi. 2 days in a row. I left the Meadows feeling a little bit disappointed, but really, in retrospect, just maybe feeling a little bit greedy, right? Unbeatable Kemp raced great yesterday, and I just thought that with that trip, there was no way he'd lose. Exact same scenario today. I told you, Patrick doesn't do his best work when you leave with him, but from the rail last week, just kind of floated out, sat, attacked, and won easy. Now up in class a little bit. The horses I was up against won. The horse on the rail this week was the one I defeated last week from post 6. He had post 6, I hit the rail. And the other one was a horse dropping out of the open. Now the horse that Aaron was driving, Ideal something, Dancer something. This horse is coming down out of the open as I was just coming back up where I was in the open weeks before, a month before. So similar meeting in the middle. He's on his way down a bit, I'm on my way up a bit, but very, very similar on paper with those two horses. Now, that's the horse I want to stay close to, right? If Aaron was leaving, I was leaving. If Aaron wasn't leaving, it was just kind of floating out of there, no problem. I'm happy to drop him in front of me or happy to drop him in behind me and come first over into those three that are inside of me. But I did not want to see Aaron get away on the front and me get away fifth. That's what I did not want to see happen. So as they said go, you could see that Jeremy was about to leave and thought quickly about it. Hunter's horse doesn't really spring off the car. Aaron is leaving, and therefore I am leaving. I get over in behind him, and at that point I did feel like a Kemp situation. I really felt that there was no way I could lose. But there was no slouch on the front. Now that was, in saying that, it's a fairly loud car. In saying that, it was a little arrogant, just like it was yesterday also. Similar situation. Aaron's horse got everything his own way, got the fractions he wanted, and I couldn't get there. Closer today than I was yesterday, but both horses raced very, very good in defeat. They did, both of them. Now, rewinding a bit, I guess I'll start from the very first and say that I did have a video of every horse that trained today, a very long, in-depth video. It was 30 minutes long. I just wasn't going to post it on my mobile data, so I'll post that when I'm home in 2 hours. You guys will get that sometime around 8 o'clock tonight, 8:30. Give you something to put you to sleep. Next was I guess the first horse was Irish Ray. Man, for a horse that spent his entire life winning, he was only defeated one time, I think, in the Maritimes, and that was a break at the gate. Like 19 for 20 in his life. He sure has figured out how to be a loser. He just 3 starts in a row now, and I ran over a wheel with him, but there never should have been a wheel around him to run over when I moved him that day. He should have been gone and opened up. Then again last week, just beat at the wire. Then today, I could see what was taking place. I got him out 3 wide. I said, don't pull the earplugs out, chase him around the turn. That's what happened last time. Just let him coast up and assume that, he'll smell blood in the water and take off down the lane and win. No. I moved him 3 deep, and it was clear that he was more than happy to just let Ronnie's horse win. I'm on the outside. I got a chance to drop in. I said, you know what? Dean said he dropped him into the pass lane, by everybody training the other day and won the training set easy. Let's try that route. Not very often you get to attack in 2 or 3 different ways in 1 mile a horse that clearly wants to lose on the front end. He got like 38 seconds on the end of it. Literally 31-1. It felt like time had stopped halfway down the lane. And old Freddie, old Irish Ray, just refused to go by. We could have went around for 10 more minutes, and I am absolutely certain he never would have passed him. God, that's a frustrating feeling. Now, I mean, good for my parents. That's 2 seconds in a row. But what a frustrating feeling it is to finish second like that. Just know that the horse was the best, just chose not to be. Anyway, he finished second, beat ahead. It's an okay-looking line, but definitely a frustrating feeling. Now, although Freddie didn't try, an equally but very different frustrating feeling fell upon me in the next race, for a number of reasons. It actually ends up being a semi-funny story at the end. So greatest ending, I'm thinking, the way he raced the other day, just if you're in the same county as they are at that lane, you're probably going to win, the way he closed up last week. I get away. I let him gap because I still, this great question somebody asked me the other day. Addie, turn that down. A great question somebody asked me the other day, today. They said, do you drive him like that because you're not confident in him without hobbles on? You can't really drive him? That's not, I guess somewhat, but not really the case. I want him to build his confidence also, right? I don't need to be on top of somebody without hobbles on at the quarter pole sitting sixth. What if he gets revved up and I shut his air off? What if he puts a step in and I can't just give him his head and let him work through it? I just want to stay in a safe, comfortable place, especially when I am supremely confident going into this race that he is the best horse in the race. So I sit sixth, just floating along. And even at the quarter pole, there was a little bit of a kerfuffle there on the 3-hole, and some pylons ended up clipped. One of them flew up, landed right in front of Greatest Ending. If you go watch the video, you'll see it. Lands in front, he skips over it, and comes right up on the pace. Pretty sure-footed. So I'm like, oh, dodged a bullet there. At no point now do I feel any concern. We start into the backstretch, same as last week. I just get him out in the flow, but now he doesn't feel as sharp as I feel he should. I look up, I'm trying to assess the situation. We're not going that much. I mean, we're rolling right along, but like as I look at the field, I should be making up ground the way he raced last week. I fan him out turning for home, and sure enough, he's flat. I'm not angry because I'm concerned. I know he has tie-up issues. Please don't tell me this horse tied up. You know, I thought being at a track where he wouldn't have to ship and we could just control his movements best as we can, that this was the place to be. Please don't tell me this horse tied up. Dean said, geez, he seemed to have a good week. Now, we did train him 3 days out in Ohio. 1.5 miles. No issues. Now, I'm going to talk this out a little bit longer, too. I'll finish with the funny part of the story. So we trained him hard. We trained him in 55, no hobbles on at Northfield, no blood, not a drop, not a trace, not a trickle. We trained him 3 days before the race last week, no Lasix, he was fine. We raced him last week, he raced so good we didn't scope him. We scoped him today, 3 out of 5 for blood. Not a little bit, that's quite a bit of blood. Now as I say it out loud, I'm wondering why. Where's this coming from? Where the horse said, now we did have him on Lasix before. Now did not being on Lasix compound over 3, 4, 5 weeks, and now finally it's catching up to him, and now he's starting to leak a little bit? I guess you could sell me on that. It's a very tricky situation. I'm left a little perplexed. We have trained him hard enough in the past with no Lasix where I thought we're going to see a little blood. None. Not a drop. Today's bleeding was a little peculiar. A little odd. Not near as odd as what happened next, though. I'm coming off the track. I'm trying to assess. He doesn't look like he tied up. He looks very comfortable. But he was flat. And I see this little girl coming towards me. She's angry. Angry. She's saying something about a pig and a blah, blah, blah. And I'm kind of chuckling to myself. I kind of know the girl. I don't really know her that well. But she's boiling over. She's mad about something. Somebody's pig or something. I turn around and I'm trying to figure out who she's talking to. And Hunter Myers is there and he's laughing. And I look at him and I said, is she talking to you? He goes, I thought she was talking to you. So now she walks, gets her horse, comes back. It's the horse that Aaron drove. I don't really know where Aaron was in the mile, to be honest. To me, he was a non-factor. And she comes back by me again. Now she's cursing. It's me. She's mad at me for my pig getting in her way. And I had to correct her. Listen, little girl. Your horse is never been allowed to race against a horse this good, and he was bad today, but I was a little perplexed. Anyway, it just ends up, we all boil over from time to time in life, especially on the track. This game can get under your skin quick. So I don't pay any attention to it. It's not a big deal to me. It was a little odd, but whatever. Not the end of the world. Not a big deal. So what I did, as I said, what I found the most funny today was the Freddy, the whole, I guess not funny from funny from the outside looking in. Sitting behind Freddie, I was not very happy about the race, but it's odd that a horse goes out of his way to try so hard not to win and had spent an entire lifetime of winning. A little disappointed, but now we'll draw Greatest Endings Blood just to see if anything else is going on in there. But man, that's so frustrating. I'm just trying to wrap my head around that. How a horse that worked so hard the last 6 weeks in training back to the track never showed a drop of blood, yet we race him today and he bled. That is a bit of an enigma. I'm gonna have to do some more thinking about this. I guess, as I said to Tim, regardless of what my mind comes up with, no mucus, no redness, no real reason not to put him on Lasix, right? If there was just blood present, 3 out of 5 is a fair amount also. And when he paced today 53-1, come 28-3 with 3 out of 5 blood. Last week he paced 52-4, come 27 flat in a screaming on the end of it. I would rather not have him on Lasix, but I definitely would rather him not bleed. So, very weird situation. Anyway, we can mitigate that and fix that. I guess we'll have to put him back on Lasix, but he was mechanically he was good again today. Just the power outage, right? It was at the time I was worried he tied up, and maybe he still did. So we got to get to the bottom of that. But it looks more like today, simple old run of the mill bleeding. So we can fix that, put him back on Lasix if that's the case, but we will draw blood first on him to make sure. And then Patrick the Piranha, as I said, not disappointing. It wasn't like he was beat by a cheaper horse. This was a good horse coming out of the open. Very similar stripes to Patrick. Act the same, looked the same on paper, got everything his own way, and held on. Can't blame him for that. So although we didn't get the wins, I really thought, when I looked at the sheet, as I said, very greedily this week, I don't even know if that's a word, greedily. I'm using it anyway. As we looked at the sheet, I thought, Unbeatable Kemp, stone cold cinch, he's going to win. Greatest Ending, win. Patrick, likely win. An Irish Ray, who knows, maybe win. Instead, we ended up with 2 seconds, 7th place, 6th, bled, and another second, 3 seconds, so I guess it wasn't the end of the world. Anyway, I will let you guys go. I will send that longer video explaining all the sets out to you guys today. Tomorrow we have Stay Special, and then the girls and I and Amy and Ollie are gonna head. We're gonna head to Kentucky, Addie Bear. Kentucky for the weekend. Kentucky's a long way away, but that's okay. You're gonna have a long nap? No, that's a good way to fix it. Anyway, I will talk to you all soon. Have a wonderful Friday. Wonderful Good Friday. Take care, everybody.